Kaziranga National Park has 4 zones: Eastern, Western, Central and Borapar, and we have decided to start our journey from the Central Zone. More eyes means early warnings, and at Kaziranga, where tiger density is among the highest in the world, these herds aren't just sharing grass, they are sharing survival. The predator and the prey, caught together in the same frame. These animals have survived not because the world was kind to them, but in spite of it. Central zone of Kaziranga is a patchwork of tall elephant grass, floodplain marshes, and river channels of the Brahmaputra. Guards were armed with shoot-at-sight orders. Kaziranga still holds its own kind of reward. Is a grey-headed fish eagle with its catch. But the otters vanish beneath the water to seek. The eagle claims with a single strike from the air. One side is the jungle, a world that follows its own rules. On the other side are we humans, who fail to follow even the rules we write ourselves. Even though it's January, the daytime temperature here will climb close to 80°F. If you're new here and enjoying the journey, do consider subscribing. Every like, every comment may seem small, but they are the footprints that guide YouTube to share these stories further. And for a small creator like me, that support is everything. The order is restored. Her order. We left Orang around midnight, hoping to reach Kaziranga before the morning safari. The road is long, the night is cold, and the driver needs a tea break. While he warms his hands around a cup of tea, I stretch out on the back seat, half asleep but restless for the jungle. A few kilometers later, headlights catch a signboard. Animal corridors slow down. Out here, traffic has its own rules. These forests don't bow to the highway bends for them. And soon enough, the map glows red. A traffic jam, not for an accident, not for road work, but because the wild itself is crossing somewhere. Here, even traffic moves to the rhythm of the jungle. We finally arrived Kaziranga. The sunlight begins to peel back its layers of beauty. From the roadside, I saw 2 rhinos, almost like a welcome committee ushering us into their world. After dropping off my bags in the room, I am ready to hop onto the jeep. Jiten is our guide and driver for this trip. He looks at me and says, "You must be tired, want some tea?" I laughed and told him, "In the jungle, caffeine isn't my fix. This place is my dopamine." After a night's journey, the first safari in Kaziranga begins.
ये बेसिकली स्नेक रेस्क्यूअर भी है।
अभी तो गर्मी का टाइम आ रहा है, तो असम में ज़्यादातर घर में ज़्यादा स्नैक मिलता है। तो हम लोग अभी अवेयरनेस दे रहे हैं कि गांव-गांव में ज़्यादा है हम लोग रेस्क्यू करने के लिए। तो सब जानते हैं कि सांप मरना गलत है। सांप ऐसे नहीं होता है कि सभी को स्नैक काटेगा या काटेगा। ऐसा होता है कभी-कभी आदमी खुद मारने के लिए जाता है तो उसको काट लेता है, क्योंकि सभी स्नैक्स पॉइजनस नहीं होता है। असम में क्या होता है, 20% स्नैक्स ही आपको पॉइजनस होता है। उसमें से जैसे कि कोबरा, मोनोक्लेट कोबरा, ये कॉमन कैट है, रेडेड कैट है, इनका जैसा स्नैक मिलता है कभी-कभी। कभी-कभी घर में जाते हैं ये कोबरा, तो अंडा खाने के लिए।
वो कौन सा स्नेक है जो मुर्गियों के उसमें रहता है?
हाँ, वही है मोनोक्लेट कोबरा। यहाँ पे स्पेक्टिकल कोबरा भी है, लेकिन यहाँ पे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में ये मिलता नहीं है। अभी रिसेंट में ये आया है वाइपर, वो ग्रीन वाइपर होता है।
ग्रीन वाइपर,
वो एक्चुअली क्या था, पहले हिल्स में मिलता था, अभी प्लेन्स में आ रहा है नॉर्थ ईस्ट में, असम में। तो अभी ये भी थोड़ा डेंजरस होता है
क्योंकि वो फ्लाई कर सकता है।
बहुत फ्लाई कर सकता है कि वो ऊपर से आपको जाम करके आपको मतलब काट सकता है।
Kaziranga National Park has 4 zones: Eastern, Western, Central and Borapar, and we have decided to start our journey from the Central Zone. These statues are memorials to forest guards who laid down their lives protecting Kaziranga. So far in our journey, Tiger left us plenty of hints, and here, when it finally appears, it's on a rock. Will this picture turn into reality? I believe it will. I see tourists enjoying elephant rides. But do you know that their backs aren't built for such weight? With 5 to 6 adults and a saddle, it can easily weigh around 500 kilograms right on those bones, not muscles. What feels like adventure for us can be suffering for them. I admit, once I took an elephant safari too, unaware of the pain. But once you know, you can't unknow. I chose never again, and I hope you will choose wisely. Our jeep rolls deeper into the jungle. On the roadside, hog deer scattered, except this one standing firm as if volunteering to be the part of our story. Kaziranga isn't just another safari stop. It's been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1985. Recognition that these floodplains hold something the world can't afford to lose. More than 2/3 of planet's one-horned rhinos live here. Rhinos had been hunted for sport, their horns taken as trophies, their bodies left behind. At the turn of the 20th century, they were almost gone. Year 1904, Lady Curzon, wife of Viceroy, visited Kaziranga, and she could not see even a single rhino. Her disappointment became a turning point. On her plea, Kaziranga was declared a reserve. And for the first time, the rhino was given a chance to endure. And in their survival lies a lesson that one person's voice can change the fate of a species. If a single plea over 100 years ago could save Kaziranga, imagine what each of us can do today. Kaziranga is the last stronghold of the eastern swamp deer, the Barasinghas. These animals have survived not because the world was kind to them, but in spite of it. Central zone of Kaziranga is a patchwork of tall elephant grass, floodplain marshes, and river channels of the Brahmaputra. Raised sandbanks stand as the islands of safety when the waters rise. It may look open and endless, but this land holds life at every step. Kaziranga is home to more than 35 species of mammals and 478 species of birds. A reminder that these grasslands are as rich as any rainforest. Kaziranga is one of the richest tiger landscapes anywhere in the world. Nearly 150 tigers roam here today, giving the park the third highest density on Earth. And yet, Assam's grasslands keep their secrets well hidden. I swing my camera slowly across the horizon, searching for the smallest clue, the key to this treasure. And just then, the tiger has crossed from here. The tiger has gone that way. Let me show you. So once a tiger melts into that grass, there is no chance you will see it again. Because the jungle doesn't care whether you get a sighting or not. I've always had a special interest in seeing Assam's tigers because for some reason they appear large. They carry that raw power. Just one look is enough to make you feel fear. They look dangerous. They look wild. And I really hope that before this trip ends, I get one chance to see a tiger here.
Oh man.
There's something out there. An otter. Okay. Yeah, I think I see it. Let me show you otter. Sorry guys, that otter, like Harry Potter, gave a little show and then poof, Avanesco, vanished into the jungle. Because you know what? The otter doesn't give a drop it.
And we have decided
After
to
waiting
move
at
on.
that spot for a very long time, we decided to move further. Because there is a very slight chance that the tigress will come there anytime soon. Here stages sit perfectly. On the green velvet of grass stands the armored guardian of this land. On the edge of the water, smooth-coated otters are ready to dive in for a meal. And right above is a grey-headed fish eagle with its catch. But the otters vanish beneath the water to seek. The eagle claims with a single strike from the air. In Kaziranga, every layer of life has its own hunter and has its own stage. College pheasants on the track, 2 striking males and a female. Birds that usually stay hidden in the thickets, stepping out here in the open road. Wherever the eye wandered, there was always some animal in sight. Life at every corner of the jungle. sharp eyes, hooked beak, wings that cut the air. The Pallas fish eagle. For fish in these waters, this is a true Top Gun. In the floodplains, wild water buffalo wade through the shallows. Their crescent horns sweep wider than a man's arm. Fewer than 4,000 remain in the wild, and more than half of them survive here in these wetlands. One side is the jungle, a world that follows its own rules. On the other side are we humans, who fail to follow even the rules we write ourselves. And yes, this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So the real question isn't whether the jungle deserves better, it's whether we do. The bond between mother and calf is a fierce one. Every step shadowed, every danger met head on. Survival here is fragile. Rhino calves stay close to their mothers for nearly 4 years. In those early months, they are vulnerable. And a tiger can bring one down if it strays. The grasslands draw barrasingas, hog deer, and rhinos together. There's a strategy here. Different species bring different strengths, sharper eyes, taller vantage points, stronger sense. More eyes means early warnings, and at Kaziranga, where tiger density is among the highest in the world, these herds aren't just sharing grass, they are sharing survival. I put on my sunglasses because the sun is really bright here. Even though it's January, the daytime temperature here will climb close to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Maybe I will get a bird sighting, because at this point, I don't think a tiger sighting is likely. Even a giant like the rhino isn't spared from the smallest enemies. Clouds of flies and biting insects cling to its folds of skin, stinging wherever they can. And that's why rhino spends so much time wallowing in mud and water. The thick mud coat acts as an armor, cooling the body and shielding them from bites. What looks like leisure is survival. A daily battle, fought not with the predators, but with the swarms of insects, too small to see from afar. Two tons of survival walks off to feed alone. Male rhinos live solitary lives, each guarding a territory of his own. But their story isn't written by nature alone. It's also scarred by human hands. Between 1980 and 2005, poachers killed more than 560 rhinos in Kaziranga, just for a horn, sold in markets far from here. The response was ruthless. Guards were armed with shoot-at-sight orders. By 2017, more than 50 poachers had been killed. It's brutal, but it turned the tide. In 2022, for the first time since 1977, not a single rhino was poached in Kaziranga. These are red-vented bulbuls. At dawn, their sharp calls are among the first voices to break the silence, announcing the jungle's morning. Through the trees, an open patch calls my eye.
A wild boar and a couple of hog deers out there.
There might be hog deer's reflection in the water.
Let's see if I can.
I decide to test the limits of my lens. That velvet you see on his antlers isn't a sign of youth. It's a crown in the making. Like all deer, hog deer shed their antlers every year, only to grow them back stronger. A wild boar feeds at the pond's edge. The two very different lives, but both bound by the same law of survival.
Chalo.
That's wildlife too. You know that the wild boar is the only animal that can really stand up to a tiger, especially in the forests of Madhya Pradesh, where wild buffaloes aren't around. Here in Kaziranga, if you ask me, which animals are the most dangerous for humans? Well, say wild buffalo, elephants, rhinos, and tigers. But in reality, it's the tiger first, and then the rest. The others won't attack unless you disturb them, get too close, or if it's mating season. And in the mating season, oh well, for some reason, males get frustrated and they take it out somehow. And that's when aggression in many animals becomes far more likely. Word spreads fast in the jungle. A tigress had been spotted right at the very spot we had waited earlier in the morning. We are rushing back, hearts racing, hoping luck had circled back for us. That same tiger crossed again. We saw him once, he crossed, then came back. Ask them, was it just a crossing or did it stay for a while? Yes, it crossed, then sat here and stayed here for a long time. Really?
I admit, luck is not on my side. So the tiger crossed.
It sat here for a long time. Today it feels like luck is just not on my side. My dear friends, look at this grassland. Do you really think in the elephant grass this tall, in a forest this dense, it's possible to see an animal? Almost impossible. Yes, you will only catch a glimpse if they are right by the road or walking across it, or maybe right here on the corner between small grass. But otherwise, you just have to imagine the animals are in there, watching us. For them, spotting us is easy. For us to spot them, sometimes it feels harder than finding a needle in a haystack. Just ahead, 3 elephants wade into the water. Kaziranga still holds its own kind of reward. One halts, knees sunk deep in the mud, testing every step, and then the surface breaks. What a moment. In the same waters, a pelican and heron drift side by side. 2 very different birds, yet drawn here by the same promise. A pelican dives for fish. It breaks a net. The heron waits, precise, striking with a spear. But why in water? Because aquatic plants offer moisture, vital minerals, and nutrients, a rich buffet almost unavailable on the dry land. Over time, these elephant movements reshape the landscape, clearing channels, creating waterholes, and supporting the very wetlands this forest depends on. The safari hours are about to end, and I am exhausted from traveling since midnight. All I want now is a few quiet moments away from the rush of the tourist jeeps. I stop at the same open ground where we had seen hog deer and wild boar earlier. I set up my camera, sit still, and let the silence take over. And then against all odds, the jungle opens its curtain. No warning, no build-up. The tigress reveals herself. Not a pug mark on the trail, but the tigress herself, calm, every step claiming the land beneath her. The hog deer spot her first, ears flick sharp, white tails raised, signals every creature understands. She turns, just a look, doesn't crouch, doesn't chase. A glance that could mean the end for them. But today, she is not hunting. This is something else. There is something in the air, intense, heavy. Even from a distance, I can feel it. Look at her. No theatrics, no roar. A tigress doesn't need spectacle. The deer chose flight, as they must. She chooses her path, as she always does. The order is restored. Her order. The predator and the prey caught together in the same frame. Between fear and authority. Just a few feet of grass. Her silence is enough. Each step is a message written into the ground. I am here, and this is mine. I have followed pug marks in Manas, waited in Orang, heard countless stories from other safaris. Always the signs, never the sight. Until today. And that's why I say the jungle doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are really meant to see. You know those stories people tell, that ours was the last jeep coming out of the safari and we had a tiger sighting? Well, today that happened to us. Ours was the last vehicle and we caught the tiger.
It's not over till it's over.
Until now, I was feeling like this trip wasn't going so well. I have wished to see an Assam tiger for years. People kept telling me, don't go this season, the grass will be too tall. And you can see it in grass this high. Sightings are rare. Usually, you only catch a tiger crossing the road for a moment. And I even told you the same story. But who knew that today, a tiger would step out in the open and walk for such a long time? The story of Kaziranga doesn't end here. This was just the beginning. There are many more tales from these grasslands waiting for us. To the first 100 subscribers of this channel, thank you for walking this wild road with me. If you're new here and enjoying the journey, do consider subscribing. Every like, every comment may seem small, but they are the footprints that guide YouTube to share these stories further. And for a small creator like me, that support is everything. And as for the power of likes, comments, and subscribes, Johnny Babu, what would you know? For a YouTuber, it's the sweet fruit of countless hours of work. So until the next chapter from Kaziranga, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and remember, let's wander together.
These guys are still debating whether it was a male or a female. For me, a tiger is a tiger. Like Mahavir Singh said in the movie Dangal, our daughters are no less than our sons. In the same way, our tigress is no less than a tiger. Let's see what waits for us next. For now, time to finish the food, and then we move ahead.